good morning, or good afternoon, depending on where you are viewing from in the world. Welcome to The Silent Forgotten. I'm your host, Chris, and today I'll be sharing with you the life story of and visiting the final resting place of the Canadian actor, musician, puppeteer, children's entertainer, Canadian treasure, and Canadian culture icon, Robert Mandt Homme, better known as Bob Homme, the Friendly Giant, March 8th, 1919 to May 2nd, 2000.
One shows how things were 100 years ago, and another shows how things were 200 years ago, and the third how things were 300 years ago. It was interesting to see the difference. The things that were around 1 and 2 and 300 years ago. Old things are interesting. There's that big old boot. Now look up. Way up. And we're on our way to the castle. I'll hurry over first and go in the back door so I can let the drawbridge down and open the big front doors for you. Are you ready? Here's my castle. Inside. Here's one little chair for one of you and a bigger chair for two more to curl up in. For someone who likes to rock, a rocking chair in the middle. There. Now, look up. Way up. And I'll call Rusty. Rusty?
Hi.
Hi, Rusty.
Hi, Friendly.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Robert Mandt Homme, better known as Bob Homme, was an actor, children's entertainer, musician, puppeteer, a Canadian treasure, and a Canadian cultural icon. He will be best remembered as the host of The Friendly Giant, a popular Canadian children's television program from the 1950s through the 1980s, which was broadcast on the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation or CBC Television and had well over 3,000 episodes. On the show, the Friendly Giant would welcome his guests to his castle by putting a tiny rocking chair or two beside the tiny fireplace. You would then see a big boot. He would then say, "Look way up," and then the camera would pan up to show his giant face, and he would bring out his friends Jerome the giraffe and Rusty the rooster. He was born one of two children, as Robert Mandt Homme, to Norwegian parents Raymond Homme, 1892 to 1973, and his wife Rosalind Hanson Homme, 1894 to 1976, in Stoughton, Wisconsin on March 8, 1919. His siblings included his sister Helen R. Homme, 1917 to 1960. His parents were also high school woodworking teachers. He was educated locally, attending elementary school at Westside School in Stoughton, Wisconsin, before attending Stoughton High School in Stoughton, Wisconsin, where he graduated from in 1937. He then enrolled at the University of Wisconsin in Madison, Wisconsin, and graduated with a major in economics. He worked at a bank before joining the Air National Guard during World War I. His unit was activated in June 1941 prior to the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. He was soon promoted to Staff Sergeant, a rank he held for the duration of the war. One of his military assignments was to study psychology at Cornell University in Ithaca, New York. He was later sent to study again at the University of Wisconsin in Madison, Wisconsin. He finished the war processing and classifying discharging servicemen. Among the notable people he discharged was the actor and director Captain John Huston, 1906 to 1987. He was married to Esther Eleanor Anderson Homme, 1922 to 2017 in Stoughton, Wisconsin on May 25th, 1947, and they would have 4 children together: Richard, Anne, Ruth, and Peter. Following his graduation, he took a job with the University of Wisconsin in Madison, Wisconsin, at the state radio station, or WHA. While working at the state radio station, or WHA, he would regularly drive from Madison, Wisconsin to Chicago, Illinois to watch rehearsals of a pioneering network television variety show called The Dave Garroway Show. From these trips, he had developed an interest in programming. In 1953, as he was driving back from Chicago, Illinois to Madison, Wisconsin, he imagined creating a children's program. He recognized that giants were usually portrayed as frightening. It was his wife Esther who came up with the idea of a friendly giant. He recognized that taking what is usually associated as a scary character and making it nice makes it doubly nice. Casper the Friendly Ghost is all the more friendly because that is not how ghosts are imagined. A friendly giant, therefore, becomes an even more friendly giant when compared to the Jack and the Beanstalk variety giant. He approached the program director of the state radio station, or WHA, about this idea. The University of Wisconsin in Madison, Wisconsin was still 6 months away from having their own television license. While continuing to work full-time on the radio, he began developing the new children's television show, The Friendly Giant. He began on an educational television station at the University of Wisconsin in Madison, Wisconsin on May 8, 1954. The National Educational Television carried it in the United States from 1955 to 1968. The Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, or CBC Television, produced it and telecast it from September 30th, 1958 to March 1985. It was later run in syndication on Canada's YTV. The show was outlined but never scripted. His dramatic style as host is minimalist. He recognized that television was a hot medium, so that it was not easy to exaggerate any actions or dialogue. Consistent with his personality, he tended to underplay his performances. This was in contrast to other high-energy early television programs such as Howdy Doody. He and his puppeteer partner, originally the late Ken Ost, 1922 to 1987, in Wisconsin, and then the late Rod Cunnybear, 1930 to 2019, in Canada, used the comfortable repartee of old radio programs he enjoyed like Vic and Sade, Burns and Allen, Bob and Ray, and the Easy Aces. One of his television production innovations was to change the perspective of the camera. Instead of the normal camera angles, raise the miniatures to camera height and place the human being as the unusual shot above the set. Suddenly, the person became the giant. Using a tight cover shot and a loose close-up seemed to violate the newly established rules of television, but it worked perfectly in creating the sense of a large giant. This countered the Godzilla effect, where viewers watched a full-size monster walk around a miniature set. He always kept the giant character somewhere in the shot to emotionally reassure his preschool audience and to minimize any jarring effect. Growing up in a musical family, they enjoyed singing together and performing for the extended family each other on a Saturday night. The young Homme and his father had a little vaudeville act that was available when needed in the community. He later joined the school band at the University of Wisconsin in Madison, Wisconsin. While he is best known for playing the recorder, his first instruments were the clarinet and the saxophone. He first purchased a recorder while stationed in New York City, New York, during his military service, to give him an inexpensive and portable instrument during his travels. The recorder would become his signature instrument. On each episode of the show, he played 3 different recorders to match the pitch of each to the desired tone at that stage of the show. He was also the model in a number of paintings by his friend and Canadian artist James Lumbers. James Lumbers' Moments in Time paintings often featured images from the present together with a faded image of a person and things from the past at the same location. His likeness was used in the images of grandfather types in these paintings, such as Lucky Strike and Gone Fishing. The Springer Spaniel and old friends was the Homme's family dog Molly. In one painting of a honky-tonk piano player called Billy Ninefingers, he and his wife are one of the couples sitting at a table in the foreground. He became a citizen of Canada in the early 1990s, holding both American and Canadian citizenships, and was invested into the Order of Canada as a member on November 2nd, 1998 in Grafton, Ontario, Canada. As he was too ill to travel at the time, the Governor-General Romeo LeBlanc, 1927 to 2009, came to him instead of making him come to Rita Hall in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, where the award is usually bestowed. He and his wife retired to a rural property near Grafton, Ontario, Canada, where they lived out their final days. In retirement, he joined the Cobourg Rotary Club in Cobourg, Ontario, Canada, and was active as a member. He and fellow Rotarian Wally Reed formed a group Timeshare. Together they regularly performed music in the area, in retirement homes and nursing homes. He passed away following a battle with prostate cancer in Grafton, Ontario, Canada on May 2nd, 2000 at the age of 81. Following his death, he was buried under a simple headstone in Fairview Cemetery in Grafton, Ontario, Canada. His son Richard was a Toronto, Ontario, Canada-based jazz bassist who died on May 6, 2011 at the age of 71. His wife Esther passed away in Cobourg, Ontario, Canada on July 8, 2017 at the age of 94, and she was buried beside her husband in Fairview Cemetery in Grafton, Ontario, Canada. The singer and voice actress Emily Claire Barlow is Bob Homme's step-granddaughter. Hey guys, welcome back to the Sign Forgotten. I'm Chris, and today we are going to be visiting a Canadian treasure of children's entertainment. Now, we are at the Fairview Cemetery in Grafton, Northumberland County, Ontario, Canada. And I will tell you who we will be visiting in just a minute. Here is a little bit about the area. So we're out in the middle of nowhere, and there's a car parked up here, so I don't want to get them on camera. So today, as I said, we are at the Fairview Cemetery here in Grafton, Ontario, County Northumberland, Ontario, Canada. And we will be visiting, as I said, a Canadian treasure of children's entertainment, the late great Robert Mandt Homme, better known as Bob Homme. Now, he played the friendly giant on the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, or CBC Television, from September 30th, 1958 until the show went off the air in March of 1985. Now I'm just going to take you up here, show you a little bit of the scenery before we actually go visit Bob Homme. So I said Fairview Cemetery. This is the Ontario County Road number 2. As you can see, beautiful area, rural area, corner of Shelter Valley Road. So there is the office. I'll just take you up here, show you a little bit of the front of the cemetery and the sign, and then I will take you on a tour of the cemetery, a little bit of a cemetery tour. I'll do a full cemetery of this tour of the cemetery at a later date. So Bob Homme is buried in here with his wife. I'm not exactly sure where he is, so we'll just go over this way. And we will go down here. See the sights. It's a little cold today, but not too bad. So I thought I'd come and do a couple of videos. So there's the old sign, the Fairview Cemetery. Here is a map of the cemetery. And then some notes over here about the cemetery. And we'll go over here. I'll just show you. There is the sign for the village of Grafton over there. So, again, so today, like I said, we are at the Fairview Cemetery in Grafton, Northumberland County, Ontario, Canada, which is pretty well near the historic city of Cobourg and some other small villages. So today I will be sharing with you the life story and visiting the final resting place of the actor and children's entertainer Robert Mandt Homme, better known as Bob Homme, who was the friendly giant on Canadian television from September 30th, 1958 until the show went off the air in March 1985. Now, it ran originally in the United States, I believe, 1953 to 1958, as he was born in Stoughton, Wisconsin. And he moved to Canada later on and brought the friendly giant up here. So I'll give you a little tour of the cemetery here while we visit, or while we look for the gravesite of Bob Homme and his wife. As you can see, lots of history in here. A lot of old headstones. So I've never been here before, but I have an idea what the stone looks like. Here's a really old one. Ida Georgina calendar. Another old one over here. Too bad a lot of these stones are old and worn. The pine cones in the pine cone needles on the ground adds a little character to the cemetery. So I'll tell you a little bit about the cemetery while we walk. So the Fairview Cemetery is located on number 2 highway at Shelter Valley Road, as I already said. It's in Haldeman Township, Northumberland County, Ontario, Canada, and is also known as the old Stanley Cemetery. Now, the Fairview Cemetery has burials, as you can see, older stones, back to at least 1819. Now, the Fairview Cemetery is a non-denominational cemetery, and its purpose is to provide a resting place for deceased persons of any faith or religion. Sorry about the background, the noise of the cars going by on the highway, or the road. So, yes, so as I said, its purpose is to provide a resting place for deceased persons of any faith or religion. So, the Fairview Cemetery is operated by a volunteer board of trustees. So back to Robert Mandt Homme, or Bob Homme, better known as the Friendly Giant. So, he was born, as I said, in Stoughton, Wisconsin, American. He came to Canada after he started his show down there and brought to Canada. He was born on March 8th, 1919, and he passed away here in Grafton, Ontario, Canada, where he is buried. So, he was American born, as I said. He was a voice actor, puppeteer, and children's entertainer who played the Friendly Giant on the television series of the same name. It was on the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, or CBC. And as very many thousands of children, like myself, I watched it religiously as a child. And next to Mr. Dress Up, which was another great kid show when we were growing up. Now, as I said, the show ran from September 30th, 1958 to March 1985. And along with the puppeteer Rod Cunningham, 1930 to 2019, he sang songs. Give me a minute here. He sang songs, and he entertained as puppets. I believe he was one, and then Rod Cunningham was the other one. So, a giraffe named Jerome, and a rooster named Rusty. Now, in the series, camera tricks were done to make it look like Bob Homme was an actual giant. So he would start his show off with him taking a rocking chair and putting it in front of a fireplace for us to sit in, his guests. And he would say, "Look way up." And the camera would show a couple of big boots and pan up, and there was Bob Homme dressed up in his giant outfit, and he'd welcome us, and then he would start his stories, and Rusty and Jerome would come out, and then so he did play a harp, I believe it was, if I can recall, and he lived in a castle. It appeared to make it look like a castle. But if I can find a clip of that, I will put that in the video for you, so you can see if you possibly never heard of the Friendly Giant television show. So as we look for his grave, I will just read you a little bit more and show you some more of the cemetery. So, after the show went off the air, he retired to Grafton, where he lived with his wife, Esther Eleanor Anderson Homme, born September 18th, 1922, and she passed away July 8th, 2017. And I believe they had at least 4 children together. Actually, I'll step over here for a minute. I'll show you these older stones here. They're reinforced, obviously, because they've fallen over or broken in the past. So we'll look for more over here. So you can't find them. Just a very simple headstone. Now here's another one of those Book of Lives I showed you before. Book of Life stone. These are neat. This is John Gordon Winter, his wife Doris L. Davy, 1929 to 2021, and their son Lloyd Stanley, who is still alive, born 1955. Rest in peace. So, so his wife passed away, as I said, July 8th, 2017. She was 95, and she is buried with him. So I actually just found his grave. So I would just continue showing you over here, and then we come back and do a little bit more. So that's all really the information I have on Bob Homme right now. There is plenty more information, but I will put that in the bio section and give you some more information on him as well. So the cemetery, I said, is still open for burials. They do have a columbarium over there, which I will show you. So I'll turn around here and we'll walk back this way so you can actually see over here. A lot of old headstones, as you can see. Another reinforced one for Elizabeth. And today is Veterans Day, so we will stop here and pay our respects to Archibald L. Waite, who was part of the Midland Regiment, passed away August 10th, 1949. May he rest in peace. Thank you for your service, Archibald L. Waite. Happy Remembrance Day. So, a lot more history over here. These are some neat ones here. This big one over here. Judson, son of John and Samantha Merrill, died October 11th, 1859. Age 22 years, 9 months, and 11 days. Lavinia. So, a lot more over here, as you can see. As I said, that's just an office over there, a church. It's closed. George Winters. Another military veteran here. Thomas L. Pritchard, Corporal. Thomas J. Pritchard, Corporal. Royal Canadian, I'm not sure. November 13th, 1990, age 76. Thank you, sir, for your service, and happy Remembrance Day to you. So, a lot more over there, older ones. And newer ones over here. So, there's one more veteran over here. I'll go see him. And I'll show you the other section over here. This is where Bob Homme is buried with his wife Esther. And like I said, I'll come back another day and do a longer cemetery tour of this one for you. So, this is Austin Ainsworth. He was a signalman. RCCS, June 15th, 1980. Died age 57. Thank you, sir, for your service. And happy Remembrance Day to you. So as you can see, a lot of interesting stones in this cemetery. This is my first visit here, and I find it very interesting myself. There's a recent burial there, but I won't show you that. It's just some dirt. So let's go over here. I will pan over here. Show you these. These interesting stones over here. Now he's just over here, but I'm going to show you the columbariums first, and I'll come back up the row. Neat little angel statue there. Andrew Stephen Greer, 1993 to 2019. Looks like he was a musician of some sort. 400 Hearts. And there is a statue of a monk with a dove. Very interesting. So there's some woods back there. Probably a lot of deer and stuff in there. So neat little columbariums. There's newer burials, obviously. Ashes interred, niches. I don't want to get my image in there, so I'll just show you from the sides. A beautiful garden here, probably in the springtime, summer. And we have new flowers in there. A couple of benches that people can sit on. This one is in memory of John H. McLean, placed here by his many children, June 2020. Now there's another one over here, and it says, in memory of Ross, Norma, and Sharon Beatty, always remembered. Another columbarium there. Another columbarium there. Some beautiful trees in here too for the fall. Makes it beautiful. Beautiful Psalm 23 from the Bible on there. The Lord is my shepherd. Right there. A beautiful tree planted in memory of Amelia Newton, Knee Lake, 1939 to 2017. So we'll just go over here. Another beautiful tree. This one is in loving memory of Jane Eagleson, donated by John, Greg, and Dale Eagleson and family. I'll just do one more pan over here. And there's one more veteran up here that I'm going to go visit, pay my respects, and we'll come back over this way and pay our respects to Bob Homme, and I'll end the video there. Well, as I walk back to my vehicle, I'll show you the cemetery again as I'm walking down the path, or the lane. So here we have, oh, this one's a lady. So, Mary A. Shorey, Corporal, CWAC, 1923 to 2003. Lest we forget, thank you for your service, and thank you for what you did in the war, and happy Remembrance Day. Here's a neat little one over here. McBride, they're still alive. So he was a hockey fan. So we'll go over here. Oh, another neat little one. Some statues and some wolves in there. I'll backtrack here. Just I saw him over here. So very simple stone for a very simple man. So there is the back of the Bob Homme stone. You know what I'm going to do? Actually, I won't do that. I'll bring him something next time I come to visit. So, this is the resting place of the Canadian treasure, children's entertainer, icon, Robert Mandt Homme, better known as Bob Homme, the Friendly Giant. So, we have Robert M. Homme, 1919 to 2000. I believe he died from cancer. And his wife, Esther, 1922 to 2017. As you can see, there's some rocks and a giraffe and a rocking chair, which he used in his intro to welcome us in front of the fireplace. Now, I don't have anything to leave him, so I am going to give him a leaf from me. Thank you, Bob Homme. You are a true legend, sir. Thank you for the childhood memories and for everything you did for Canadian television. And may you rest in peace with your wife. Thank you so much. So, guys, I'm going to walk you down the path as I said. So, if you like this type of content, please like, subscribe, and hit that thumbs up button. And if you would like to see more of this, then I will do some more for you. I'm actually enjoying doing these videos for you. Thank you to everybody who rests here. Thank you for everything, your valor, your service to your country, your entertainment, everything. It's a beautiful cemetery out in the country. So, again, I'll show you some more cemetery as I walk away down the path. And as I said, I will do a more lengthy cemetery tour of this cemetery at another date. So, again, I think I will stop the video after I get down this lane here. So, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much. Bye for now. As I walk away, I'll just remain silent, and I will just let you enjoy the scenery of the cemetery and the view.
Bye-bye. Bye, Rusty. Bye-bye. Tis late. This little chair will be waiting for one of you. A rocking chair for another who likes to rock. Big armchair for two more to curl up in when you come again to our castle. Now I'll close the big front doors and pull up the drawbridge after you're gone. Goodbye. Goodbye.